Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to the latest episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It is that time of the week again already. Saturday is almost upon us, which means match day. And in turn, that means match preview showtime. And I'm pleased to say, making, I think, his second or third appearance on the channel now, is Sam Binch, who runs the really, really good Mansfield Musings Twitter page. So what I will do is I'll put Sam's Twitter handle and the MTFC Musings Twitter handle in the description at the bottom of the video. Go and give both pages a follow. You will not regret it. Sam, appreciate you coming on to have a chat. Should be a good game.
Yeah, evening, mate. Looking forward to it. Just chatting off air and just saying, obviously, who'd have thought this time last year this would be top of the table clash. But I'm sure, obviously, should be a good game. Think it'll be a tight one. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it will be a close game. I think that tends to be the way in League Two. I know there's been some funny scorelines, but even the ones where there's been sort of 9 and 10 goals, they've been decided by the odd goal or they've been draws. I'm thinking about Wrexham.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of recent form, and we can look at last six now, it's very solid reading for the Stags. So they played Grimsby, Stockport, Bradford, Accrington, Colchester and Barrow in their last half a dozen, and they've picked up, I think it's 3 wins and 3 draws to give them 12 points from 18 available. Overall this season, they have 17 points from 27, and they sit in third place in the table, just 1 place below the Gills. We've been a bit in and out in recent weeks. It's 3 wins and 3 defeats in the last 6. Then wins coming against Crawley Town, Harrogate and Morecambe. And most recently, we went down by a odd goal in 3 in the last couple of minutes at Doncaster last Saturday. So 9 points from the last 18, but we have 18 from 27 this season and sit behind Notts County in second place. Sam, pre-season, everybody has their own ideas of where their team's going to finish, where all the other teams are going to finish as well. And we see various predicted tables. I've had a go. I'm sure you've had a go, either privately or publicly. I had you 8th again, and I felt really bad for putting you there after what happened last season. My question marks regarding Mansfield Town were over Nigel Clough predominantly. He's had a lot of chances to get you out of this division now, and he's been consistent in getting you there or thereabouts, but he's just never found the magic formula to get you over the line. So that was one of my concerns. How many more chances does Cloughy keep getting? The other was over defensive record from last season for a team that's got aspirations to be in the top portion of the table. And I think there was maybe murmurings on social media of average age was going up. There was a lot of people that were probably starting to at least enter veteran stage of their careers. So off the back of all that, you must be really impressed with the start. I mean, it's 4 wins and 5 draws from the 9 games. So you're one of only a couple of sides that are undefeated. So certainly giving yourselves a solid base to work from.
Yeah. I mean, it's been an incredible start, really, especially considering we got to the 4th round of the League Cup as well. We're unbeaten in obviously in all competitions. Yep. First time we've done that since the 70s. So getting to the fourth round. So yeah, it's been an incredible start. I think the 2 main points you had there were fair ones. Obviously, Clough's, as you say, he's had a few goes at it, and I myself had the same question mark as to, he's proved he can get a team, 8th, 7th, 6th around that area, but he hasn't yet proved that he can push them to be an automatic promotion contender. And as you mentioned, a big part of that last year and the year before was the defensive record. I think we've gone some way to addressing that in the summer. Signed quite a lot of defenders. Obviously, the main one everyone talks about is Aidan Flint. Obviously,
I've written him down.
Yeah, unbelievable signing at this level. Really, he's exactly what you need in this league, I think, in terms of head it and kick it. But he's quite good on the ball as well, actually, surprisingly. But obviously, he's played at a high level most of his career. Obviously, brought in Callum McDonald and Bailey Cargill, who have looked solid as well.
He's got my notes. He's literally got my notes. Fair play. This is going to save me a job. I'm just going to sit and listen.
Yeah. So obviously he's seen what the issues were. He's gone to address them by both signing players, and we've changed the system a little bit this year. So yeah, I think he's realised what the problems were. Perhaps there was a case of probably not the right word, but a bit of pig-headedness, thinking he might know best. And the fans were quite vociferous in saying, you need some better defenders. And perhaps for a while he didn't take that on board. But obviously Alfie Kilgore as well, who we signed in January last year, but has gone on to pick up a season-ending injury. So yeah, he's addressed the key areas, I think, in where we needed to improve.
And I suppose the thing is now, if you lose a player of the calibre of Kilgore, you've got options backing it up now that can come in and ultimately probably don't diminish the quality of the 11 too much. I mean, Aidan Flint, you've already mentioned, is a ridiculous signing for the level. We spoke about Wrexham and what we thought they were going to do in terms of transfers, and they brought in Will Boyle from the Championship. But I'd say in terms of calibre and experience over the last 10 years, Aidan Flint's probably not too far behind that, if at all. You'd say, in fact, he's probably comes with more pedigree because it's not really worked out for Boyle in the Championship. So in that sense, you probably picked up one of the best. You've probably got one of the best centre halves outside of the top 2 divisions, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's no secret that location's played a big part in that. Obviously, he's local to the area, lives locally, and obviously, if it wasn't for that, we perhaps wouldn't have got him, because I know that, you know, I think he could still play League One quite comfortably. But we've also brought in Lewis Brunt on loan from Leicester, another young defender who looks the part. He's very, very good on the ball. He's quick, got a good leap on him. And yeah, you're just saying about the injuries there. Obviously, when you think we've got 3 or had 3 long-term injuries, Elliot Hewitt, Stephen McLaughlin and Alfie Kilgore, who would probably get in most defences in this league, I would say, as 3 of the 4, then to say we've still got strength in depth in that area and we've tightened up at the back, I think he's done incredibly well there.
How has Cargill settled in? Because we had him on loan a few years ago from Bournemouth when he was still a kid. Obviously, there's a few years have passed and plenty of water's gone under the bridge since then. I think he went to MK Dons and obviously won the title in this division with Forest Green not so long ago. But I think the issue with Bailey's always been that there's been injury problems. If you keep him fit, I think again he's probably one of the best at the level. So how's Bailey settled in? Has he played plenty of minutes?
Yeah, well, he started off as first choice, and then, as you say, he picked up a knock, so he found himself out of the side. He's incredibly good on the ball for a defender. I think he's one of the best progressive passers from defence I've seen in League Two for a while. Not the quickest, but yeah, he was settling in nicely, and then picked up the injury, and then obviously with the run with Bidon, he's had to wait his turn. Played last night out of position at left back, also against Poku, who obviously an unbelievable player. He's probably Championship level, never mind League One, and had a bit of a torrid time. But Clough said after the match, it was just to get him some fitness, get him some minutes, and he understood he was playing out of position. But yeah, as I say, to have him as a backup, as your first choice centre back backup at the moment, then it's not a bad option to have.
That's it. Yeah, you're in a fairly healthy place if you've got someone of his quality that's not in the team all the time and you can call on him. And I think we're similar now. I mean, January, we all know that we had to go and buy players to get ourselves out of trouble. And we did that in terms of the immediate. But I think there was a plan. The 2 that you got from yourself, Lapo and Hawkins, were ones for the future as well. I know Ollie's now 31, 32, and we're not going to see him for a while, unfortunately, because of injury. But we won't see George either. But George is 25, 26. So you still think you're going to get 3 or 4, 5 good seasons out of him if he stays fit. It was then about trying to just add a bit of stardust and some depth and that type of thing. And I think we've done it really well because George won't be able to play Saturday, but we could invariably have someone like Johnny Williams playing in the 10 if we need to, or someone like that, or Connor Mahoney, who's on loan from the Championship. So we'll be in a lot better place, certainly, than when you came down and rolled us over about this time last year, I think it was actually. I think it was only about 6 or 7 games in, and Mr. Lapsley ran the show, if I remember rightly, and shushed the Raynham end after scoring, which is quite ironic.
Yeah, I remember that well. Yeah, and like you say, like I was just saying with Flint, obviously location. You've done your homework well there with Lapsley and Hawkins, obviously both Southern lads. Someone's obviously looked into that and thought, we might have a chance of getting them, bringing them down to the Gills, and yeah, obviously they're 2 good League Two players, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's something that you have to look at this level. Certainly when players get to a certain age, when money becomes less important, if it's ever important. But yeah, I'd say most of our signings have generally been sort of, aside from, I think, Max Clark, who was born in Hull, but obviously was playing for Stevenage last season, so that's not a million miles away from us.
Yeah.
Macaulay Bond was at Charlton QPR, so London-based. Johnny Williams was born up the road in Tunbridge Wells. Just hope that no Bradford fans are watching, bless them. So yeah, it plays a massive part in transfers at this level. I think it's only when you get to probably top end League One or Championship where you can offer a a wage that means that the location's probably not so important. I did have a whole section on transfers, and you've answered it for me already. So thank you very much. Like I said, that saves me asking that question. I'd written down needed to improve on 2022-23 defensive record, and then my next 6 words were Aidan Flint, Bailey Cargill, Callum McDonald. I then said anyone else who's come in and impressed. You've already done that for me, so thank you very much. Just 1 point on the away form, obviously, because you're not going to be on your own patch at the weekend, Sam. Unbeaten, of course, but 4 draws from 5, so only 1 win on the road. So must be pleased again that you're being hard to beat. But is there a little bit of frustration that you probably not picked up a couple more wins in them performances?
I think there is, yeah, because like you say, the performances were deserving of more than draws. I think there's the Colchester one weekend before last.
Mm-hmm.
That was we were a bit lucky there. Maybe you could say we deserved to scrape a draw, but I think they probably had the better chances, and we got away with that one a little. But certainly away against Crewe, we were 2-0 up, ended up drawing 2-2 after we got one man sent off. Doncaster, we absolutely pummeled them. They had 2 shots and scored them both. One was from about 40 yards out. So yeah, I think, like you say, drawing away from home's not too bad as long as you make sure you win your home games. But yeah, I think there was certainly some points left there that could come back to bite you at the end of the season. But it's still early days, and you probably Crewe have done quite well since then. So you sort of think, well, maybe that wasn't such a bad point after all. But yeah, I think it was definitely frustrating at the time, but seeing as we've, our home record's been pretty good, try not to worry about it too much.
Sounds like you play pretty much all the same teams as us. And we
Yeah,
go to Crewe Tuesday night as well, because you've gone to Grimsby and drawn. We went there and got beat. That was our worst performance of the season by miles. Stockport, you beat at home. We went there and won narrowly. Accrington, you've beaten. We've beaten. Colchester, you said you got away with one. We played them at home. There was nothing in the game for an hour. Then we conceded, and then we just collapsed for half hour. We were awful. Who else have you played? You said there was one. Oh, Doncaster. We played last Saturday, a close game. So I think, like you said, it's going to point to a competitive, honest, close encounter. I think is not that kind of close encounter, people. There's other channels for that type of thing.
Yeah, it seemed like those early games, like you mentioned, it seemed like we were absolutely battering teams, missing 3 or 4 great chances, and they'd just get the ball from 30 yards and ping it in the top corner. It just seemed to be 2 or 3 games of that on the run. Grimsby, I think Issa scored an absolute screamer. And Doncaster, one of the fullback, I can't remember his name, hit one on the volley from 35 yards, unstoppable. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But then we went to Accrington and scored that Aaron Lewis goal that everyone's seen. We volleyed it, top corner 40 yards. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, it is. And at the end of the day, it don't matter if you score from 6 yards or 40 yards. It's 3 points. It's 3 points.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've had this discussion with many a Gills fan over the last few weeks regarding our issues in front of goal. Obviously not as bad as the first half of last season, where it was like 1 every 6 games we scored. But there's certainly areas to improve. But I think the promising thing for us is we look like we've been creating a lot more chances. I mean, Macaulay Bond could have had a hat-trick last Saturday at Doncaster. He just needs one to go in off his backside, and I think he'll be up and running. And I think I've said this plenty of times on this channel and just on social media. I think he's our most natural penalty box player in terms of the strikers that we've got. But confidence does funny things to the brain when if you're not getting one, you start thinking about it too much. And I think that's just what Macaulay's doing a little bit at the moment. Defensive record again, we've already spoken about it. If you maintain, because I think you scored 16, conceded 8 this season, so conceding just under a goal a game, which is what you want, but obviously very free scoring as you always are at the other end, create loads of chances. Are you confident? Obviously injuries, suspensions will play a part at some point, but if you can maintain that defensive solidity that you've started the season with, that's been a hindrance over the last 2 or 3 years, that could propel you from top 7 to top 3 and beyond.
Yeah, I think so. I was looking at the numbers earlier. I think ourselves and you have both conceded the same amount of goals. I think it's 8. I think only Barrow have conceded less. When you look at expected goals, I know some people don't like to look at that sort of thing, but I think as XG against is the lowest in the league. I think yours is the second lowest. So, once you've got that base to build on, if you can hang in games, no matter whether, we have been creating chances and perhaps you guys haven't been, perhaps creating as much as you'd like. But if you can stay in games and you're keeping clean sheets or you're only conceding one goal, you've always got a chance to pick up points. And I don't see any reason why that should change with ourselves, unless, as you say, injuries, which we do seem to have a bit of bad luck with. But the defensive area hasn't been too badly affected so far. And it's not, I wouldn't say we've got particularly lucky in games. It hasn't been with, the oppositions have missed chances. I think we've generally conceded as many as you probably have expected from the chances we've conceded. So, yeah, I think we look pretty solid at the back, quite surprisingly, actually, after the last few seasons. So, yeah, I think you can say Flint's made a big difference in that.
Yeah, you can't beat experience, and certainly not experience from a much higher level. I mean, we've got it a little bit more now with Connor Masterson's young still, but his pedigree says that he'll probably play higher than League Two and potentially higher than League One given time and regular games at just 25 years of age. But the big one was Scott Malone. I think no one I feel sorry for Max Clark, actually, who came in. We signed him probably as first choice left back, played 47, 48 games and got promoted with Stevenage last season. And then Neil Harris got a call from Scott Malone after being released by Millwall, and he said, "Can I come and train to stay fit?" He went to Italy in pre-season and ended up enjoying it so much that he stayed. And poor old Max can't even get in the squad half the time now. He had to play played in a B team game Tuesday night that we went to watch. There was a few that got minutes in that, couple of injured players coming back and that type of thing. Yeah, so I do feel a bit sorry for Max Clark, because 3 months ago he was probably thinking, right, another 45, 46 games and another promotion tilt. And now he's thinking, Tuesday night, empty ground, playing against non-league sides. So that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately, with professional football. And you can't have too many good players as a fan. In terms of good players, the name that jumps off the page at the moment from a Stag's point of view is Davis Keillor-Dunn, who's got 7 in 9 so far in League Two. Started like an absolute train. Very clever player from what I've seen. Highlights, packages, that type of thing. Been operating as a 10, is that correct? You've been playing a 4-3-1-2 system, it looks like, generally this season?
Yeah, playing behind the strikers. The strikers do all his running for him as well, tracking back, so he doesn't do too much of that either. But yeah, he's one of those players who can, he can create something out of nothing. You might not see him for 8 to 9 minutes like at Colchester, and then he pops up in the last minute and sticks one in the top corner. He's just, he's got that magic, I think, and we've lacked that player, I think, in recent seasons. That player who can, as I say, might be terrible for 90 minutes, but he just drops to him outside the box and he can curl one in the top corner. I think I saw something on, you never know how true these things are, but championship clubs, bottom half championship clubs, were looking at him for January, so that's a bit worrying if the rumours are true, obviously. But it's only natural that if you're scoring at that rate and you're not an out and out striker, you're gonna get admiring glances from teams higher up the pyramid. But yeah, he's been brilliant so far. He was brilliant when he came in at the end of last season, but he was stuck out wide. We were playing 4-3-3 then, and I don't think that suited him as much. He's not the quickest. So yeah, if you can get him in and around the edge of the box, that's where you want him to be, and not doing too much running in the other direction.
That's it. And if you play that system where you've got 3 behind that can go and protect that back 4, and you've also got a front 2, then it gives them that license just to float in between them lines and just be a nuisance when the ball gets turned over, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. He's been brilliant, and the midfielders behind him are doing a great job. Aaron Lewis, in particular, we weren't expecting him to be a centre midfielder. Really, we thought he'd be challenging for a full back spot, and he's just been incredible. He's got a massive engine on him. He's very quiet, recovers the ball well, keeps it simple, doesn't try and do anything too flashy apart from volleying in from 40 yards at Accrington.
So that was quite flashy. That was quite flashy. His hair's quite flashy as well.
His hair's flashy, yeah. But his style of play is definitely not flashy overall, I would say. He's a good professional, does the hard work, does the hard yards, and yeah, he's made a big difference as well.
Right, we've waxed lyrical about him. Anyone else that we should look at? I mean, you've got good players all over the park, I understand that, so it's going to be a tough game. That's why you're third in the league after 20% of the season. But if you had to pick another name out,
I think
who would be the danger man?
Not necessarily the danger man, but I think Lewis Reed is a key part of our midfield. He plays just in front of the back 4, sort of the playmaker role, gets the ball off the centre backs. switches the play. I haven't checked the stats on this, but I think he's probably got one of the most highest pass completion. Doesn't give the ball away very often. Perhaps a bit vulnerable defensively. If you've got someone last night against Peterborough, he struggled a bit with their quality. But yeah,
84% pass completion rate in the league this season, according to the app that I use.
Yeah, not too bad then. So yeah, he's a brilliant player. He's got a great passing range, and I think last season we were playing with Maris in front of the back four, who I also think is a brilliant player. But that's allowed him. Reid coming in's allowed him to push further forward and be a bit more of a goal threat. I think he's got 3 goals, I think, maybe this season, Maris. But I was a bit sceptical because I'm a big fan of George Maris and I liked him in that role. But Reid has come in and made it his own, really. And there's no question marks now that Reid is the number 1 defensive midfielder.
It's going to be a tough game, but hopefully it'll be a tougher game for you than it was last season as well. That's the hope. Because I think even when we came to your place, I think it was mid-February after the transfer takeover and that type of thing. Obviously, we were still very much a work in progress, and I think you beat us quite comfortably that afternoon as well, in truth. But yeah, I think it should be a very different encounter this time around. Yeah, we've got plenty of creative players. I think Neil Harris's issue at the moment is he's just not quite found a way to get them all in. I think the closest we got to it, and this has probably been born out of, as bad as I feel for Ollie Hawkins, it's come from Ollie Hawkins being unavailable. Because I think at the start of the season, Neil loves to play 4-4-2. He's always done that wherever he's been, Millwall, Cardiff. He likes to play big man, little man partnership. And I've always said, well, the game's moved on from that a little bit. I think now you have to be more flexible. And we had a spell end of last season where Ollie was ill and we went to 4-2-3-1 and we played George just behind Tom Nichols and it worked really well for a 3 or 4 game period. But then we went back to this 4-4-2 system start of the season, and because we won our first few games, we weren't conceding. Neil correctly stuck with it. If you're not conceding, you only need 1 chance to go in and you win football matches, and that's what we were doing. Then there becomes greater necessity to score more goals if you do concede 1 or 2. So we've been playing a 4-2-3-1 recently, which means you can get Johnny Williams in from the side, you can get George in the 10 if he's fit, Connor Mahoney from the other wing, and then a centre forward, because obviously Hawkins is not there. And to be fair, I know I've seen a lot of stuff about Macaulay Bonne on social media, but he's incredible in the air. He's not that big. He doesn't look like he should be a focal point type, but he's incredible in the air. He's just got that knack, almost like, I'm not saying he is, but how like Cristiano Ronaldo just hangs. He knows how to time that jump so that he's always meeting the ball at the highest point of his leap, which is really good. He just needs a goal. So I think we'll probably go 4-2-3-1 this week. Just hope that we can get a couple, like 1 or 2 of those injured players back. We've had Dom Jeffries out for 4 or 5 weeks with a hamstring strain, who's was a huge part of what we were doing early part of the campaign. He could play that wide left role and then potentially Johnny Williams in the middle. But I think Saturday will probably be too soon for a start for Dom. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Go on, carry on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think something to look out for if Johnny Williams, is he likely to start, Johnny Williams?
He missed last Saturday, but I think it was illness, and I believe he's going to be fine. I'm sure I've heard somewhere that he's trained this week, so he's going to be available for selection. It'll just be where we play him, because at Swindon he played either like as a left side of a front 3, or you played him in a middle 3. Whereas we want to play one that's more advanced in the middle. I think his best performance so far this season was in the Papa Johns, and he played as a 10, and he was really, really good.
Yeah, I think something to look out for is he's sort of got, when he was playing for Swindon, on-running battle with Ollie Clark in our midfield. I remember not last season, the season before for Swindon, Ollie Clark basically followed him around, kicking him off the park. Basically, I think both of them ended up getting booked. Quite feisty between them. And then last season, Swindon battered us 5-2 at home, and Ollie Clark didn't play that day. I think he was injured at the time. I'm just interested to see if I think Clark will start on Saturday, and I think one of his main roles, if Williams is in a central area, will be to follow him around and kick him for as long as Clark can last for.
Interesting to see, and obviously it'd be interesting to see how long Johnny potentially can last as well if he's been ill recently as well. So yeah, that could be one of the key battles potentially. Team news we're just going to have to go off what we think because we're recording on a Wednesday night. So I suppose similar to ourselves, generally, there's no reason to be changing much from a Stags point of view, is there, Sam?
No, I don't think so. I think it'll probably be the same side as last Saturday. Only question marks possibly between Ollie Clark and George Maris as to who starts in midfield. Maris is coming back from injury. Well, they're both coming back from injury, but I think Clark, as I say, will start. He tends to start in the games where it might be a bit of a battle in the middle, and as I say, I think he'll be tasked with following Johnny Williams around. And then in attack, Will Swan and James Gale have sort of been getting rotated a little, but I think Will Swan, got his first goal of the season from penalty spot last night, so I think he'll probably get the nod alongside Aikens up front. But other than that, I think it'll be the same team.
So back four exactly the same. So Pym in goal,
Yeah.
and then Bowery, Flint, Brunt, and McDonald as your back four.
Yeah, so Bowery and McDonald both didn't start last night because they'd been carrying knocks for a few weeks, but they both came on. I think it was just a case of giving them a bit of a rest. So yeah, I think they'll definitely come in because the fullbacks who did come in, Williams and Cargill, although they were up against probably championship level wingers, didn't really do anything to grab the shirts. I don't think so. Yeah, I think they'll come back in, and then Flint and Brunt in the centre of defence. Reed in front of the back four, Lewis and I think Ollie Clark either side. And then, Keeler Dunn, Aikens, Swan in attack.
Tasty lineup. Yeah, I'm not sure in terms of Gills. So we played a back three last Saturday at Doncaster, but that was more out of necessity because we had no Johnny Williams, no George Lapsley, no Timothy Dieng, and no Dom Jeffries. So basically 4 people that can play as an 8 or a 10.
Yeah.
All unavailable due to injury. So if we can get, I think we'll have 2 of them available. That'll be Williams and Jeffries. I'd say Williams is probably the more likely to start out of the 2. Dom got 45 minutes in this B team friendly Tuesday night, but I can't see him going straight into the side after missing over a month of football, especially with a muscular strain. You don't want to be putting too much pressure or too much load onto that, and then he pulls up again. So I think we'll revert to a back 4. I think being at home will dictate that to a degree that will be expected to be the ones that play on the front foot. I know you're very front foot, regardless of whether you're at home or away. So be an interesting battle. But I think also the fact that the home crowd will want us to try and be the ones that make the running. So I think it'll be Jake Turner in goal. I think Max Emer would drop out from the side that started last week. So that back 4 will be Shay Alexander, Connor Masterson, Shad Ogie and Scott Malone. I see no reason why we can or we would change Ethan Coleman and Sean Williams as the 2 in front of that back 4. Connor Mahoney's been very good since arriving, so I think he'll start from one side. I think because of the people just coming back from missing games, I think it'll be potentially Johnny Williams from the left-hand side. And then I think we'll probably play Tom Nichols just off of Macaulay Bonne. So he'll be the one that drops in as the 10, becomes the link man. But then Ashley Nadesan did score 2 in this behind closed door game in the week as well, and he started off brilliantly when he came in. He got 3 in his first 3 games, 2 in the league, and he scored the opener against Southampton when we knocked them out of the League Cup. So, but he hasn't found the net since until this game Tuesday evening. So
yeah, I know that Nigel Clough's a big admirer of Tom Nichols. I think he's tried to sign him for us on a couple of occasions. Obviously, he's a silky player, isn't he? Behind the sort of links to the midfield and the attack well.
Yeah, he's such a clever player.
I think we might have Clough will have some plans probably for him as well. But yeah, I just mentioned it because I know he's looked at signing him a few times.
Yeah, he's a good player. We've been very impressed. He's never going to score you loads of goals, but he offers so much as an all-round player and a link player and that type of thing, and then creates space and opportunities for others. I'm just wondering whether, because Macaulay Bonne struggled to find the net as much as he's been very good the last few weeks in terms of all-round play, that Nadesan might get the nod, would create a different problem for you because he's probably one of the quickest in the division. So that would be someone that wants to run in behind rather than someone that probably wants it to feet and wants to stay in the 6-yard box, the sort of that 12-yard box inside the penalty area. So a couple of options. Excuse me. The big question, as always, Sam, before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, is the score prediction. What do you think it's going to be come wow, it could be 5:15, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be tight. Like we say, both defences seem to be going well this season. I don't think. I think it'll be 1-1. I'll go for 1-1. I think, and I'd take that now if you offered me it. Exactly the same.
Again, I can't echo them sentiments enough. A draw's not a disaster for either side at this stage of the season. If you don't get beat to a side that's in and around you at the top of the table, then it's one you can tick off and then target other games. And I think the next sort of 6 or 7 for us are not season defining. It can't be season defining after you've got to sort of 15 games. But I think from Saturday to the end of October, we play you at home, MK Dons at home, Notts County at home, and we go to Crewe and Swindon midweeks.
Yeah, I think we've got you. I think we've got you guys, and then we've got Wrexham, AFC Wimbledon, and Notts County are our next 4 games. So, yeah, it's certainly hotting up.
Yeah, see, and you're getting to that stage now where managers and fans start to say that the table is starting to take proper shape, and you're starting to feel right. This is where we should be for the rest of the season. So yeah, all the makings of being a really good game and one that I'm really looking forward to. Sam, as always, great to have you on. Great to chat football. So thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Like I said, everyone, Gills fans, Mansfield fans, if you are watching to this point, then thank you very much. Go and give Sam and the Mansfield Musings page a follow. Details are right down at the bottom of this video. We'll be back Saturday. And again, appreciate all the support, but especially this week, it's been really busy. This is now 5 days in a row that we've recorded and produced content. We've gone match day live at Doncaster, match day review Sunday, interview with Timmy Dieng Monday, B team match day live Tuesday, this chat with Sam this evening. So thank you very much for watching. I know you've all got lives outside of football, so we never ever take the support for granted. Please keep liking, subscribing, retweeting, doing all that stuff. We will see you Saturday for match day live, but until then, up the Gills.